Okay, I'm joined here with four of our wonderful student leaders. I have joined by two student leaders from our upper school and two from our middle school. We have Natalie, who is the president of our whole student body. We have Josh, who is the president of our senior class. We have Rory, who is the president of our middle school. And then we have Reed, who is our vice president of our middle school. So Natalie, why don't we begin with you? Maybe just give a self-introduction and let people know a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Natalie. I've been at CCD since third grade. I'm a senior, 18 years old.
Good, very good. Okay, Josh?
Hi, my name is Josh Nixon. I'm a senior. I'm the senior class president, and I've been at CCD for 16 years.
Wow, okay. Rory?
Hi, I'm Rory Miller. I'm the middle school president, and this is my 5th year. I've been here since 4th grade.
Great. And Reed?
Hi, I'm Reed. I've been here since pre-K, and I'm the vice president.
Okay, so if we put all your years together, you've all been here for quite a long period of time. Let's begin. We're in a pretty unusual time in Country Day's history. We're doing something called Country Day Connected, where we're doing remote learning. And this certainly isn't what we expected it when the school year began, but it is where we are now. Can you tell me just a little bit about your experience with Country Day Connected now that we're about to enter into the 5th week? And why don't we maybe begin with the high school students? Can you talk to me a little bit about what the experience has been like?
Yeah, I think we've actually adjusted really well as a community. Luckily, we've already had computers integrated in our education for a really long time. So I wouldn't say the adjustment was seamless, but it's pretty good.
Natalie, just to follow up on that, what are you finding the most challenging?
Honestly, the parts about school that are usually most fun are interacting with people face to face. There is kind of a disconnect when you aren't able to be in the same room as someone. You're not able to connect with them at the same level. But
would you say that the same thing about your teachers? Is it harder to make that connection with your teachers as well in this format?
Definitely, especially because you can sometimes only see 3 or 4 people at a time. So it is difficult when you can't necessarily see everyone, but.
Okay, very good. Josh, how about for you? How is the experience going so far?
Yeah, I think it's worked pretty well. Not what we really hoped for, but definitely for what it's been, hearing from some of my friends at other schools and just the sheer amount of issues they've been having. And you know how, by comparison, how easy we've been able to kind of transition over to this, I think speaks a lot about the history of our program and how well, you know, we are able to kind of learn in any situation.
Josh, you're the president of our senior class, and I know for your class in particular, this has been really difficult. How are you all keeping your spirits up, or is it pretty tough to do?
It's tough, but people are finding a way. You know, I've talked to a lot of people, you know, texting each other back and forth, you know, getting help with each other for homework and just finding different things that we can do, you know, playing games with each other, that sort of stuff.
Very good. So now what kinds of communication, right? You have so many types of communication. You've got text, you've got your computer, you've got over the computer games. You know, what's the go-to for you, Josh? Is it mostly text first?
Yeah, for me, it's really text. It's just the easiest for me. You know, I like playing games with some of my friends too. So we'll talk about school and, you know, what we're doing during that time as well. But that's more of like a, you know, friend thing to do.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, very good. Rory, how about for you? How has the experience been these first couple of weeks?
I think it's going pretty well. Like, obviously, we at Country Day, we get our computers in 5th grade. So I think that most of us are kind of accustomed to using technology. And I think that there has been some difficulties with technology, just like figuring out, but I think that we've really adjusted well, and kind of like the high schoolers were saying, we have it a lot easier than some other schools. So I think that we're just doing really well with what we've been doing.
So if you go back to that first week, Rory, what were some of the biggest challenges kind of getting comfortable with the computers? You mentioned it was a little tough to begin with. If you go back, right, we're about to go into the 5th week, so it probably feels a little more comfortable. In that first week, what were some of the bigger challenges?
I would say honestly just figuring out how to work some of the technology because we've been using our computers, but obviously it's new to everyone having all of your classes through a FaceTime. And so I think it's just figuring out what buttons to push, like how you're going to do specific things, and just kind of establishing a schedule because it's weird because this has never really happened before.
Okay, great. Reed, how about for you?
These first couple of weeks have been really, I mean, they've been challenging as of like the coronavirus and everything that's happened, but I also think it's great that our school has the technology and we're really prepared for this. Kind of like Rory said, we had computers at a really early age in 5th grade, so that really helped us, and we're really accustomed to the computers and how to use them in Teams and OneNote and everything like that. So I think that's a really big advantage, and I mean, I have friends at other schools, and like Josh said, they really don't have it as lucky as we do. So we're really blessed to have a lot of this technology. And I mean, staying home has been fun, but I really do miss school and being able to see my friends and play sports. But on the or on the other side, we've also had a lot more family time. So.
Yeah, good. Reed, one of the things I understand is that some people live in places where the connection's really good, and other people have connections in their homes that aren't too strong and kind of can make for glitchy video conferences and things like that. Have you run into difficulty with connectivity and kind of the speed of the internet at your house?
Yeah, we actually just had new internet installed today. So,
Okay, so your family upgraded. Rory, how about for you? How is connectivity at your house?
My connectivity is really bad.
Okay.
And so, but I think that the first week it was kind of like, oh God, I got kicked out of my class. But now you've kind of like, oh, just, call a friend, they'll tell the teacher. So I think that you've kind of gotten used to it and adapted to it. But definitely it's bad because we have 3 people in our house who are trying to use the internet all day. So I think that it's definitely not the best situation, but I mean, we have to deal with it.
Yeah, very good. Josh, how about in your home? How is the connectivity?
Fortunately, it's a little better in here. I'm in the room with the Wi-Fi router, so that's good.
Okay.
It was a little tough when trees took out the power lines
Yes.
last week. So, but other than that, it's been a little bit better than than fortunately for other people, but it's going pretty well.
We had a tornado last week when those lines came out. How long were you without electricity?
5 days.
Wow.
So Thursday, we lost it Wednesday night, and then on Sunday we finally got reconnected. So.
And you probably were really happy to see those lights come back.
Yeah.
Very good. Natalie, how about for you? How has connectivity been at your home?
Yeah, luckily mine's pretty good. Sometimes when all of us are on it at the same time, it gets kind of glitchy, but usually there's not a lot of problems.
And do you find that that's in the morning? Are you all kind of trying to access it in the morning?
Yeah, on day 1 days, my brother's schedule lines up with mine. So we're in
Okay.
class at the same time, and my dad's at work, and my mom's on her chats.
Okay.
So we're all just accessing.
Yeah. When you think about the learning that you're doing, a moment ago, Natalie, you were talking about the relationship with teachers and how it's a little bit different. Has there been anything in these first 4 weeks that has been kind of cool and kind of different and a type of learning? You've all been at Country Day for such a long period of time. Can any of you think of something that a teacher did or a way that you learned that is a little bit different than actually being in class? Or maybe not?
I think that the teachers are like doing a really good job because I know that as a student, it sometimes gets like, oh God, what am I doing? And I can't even imagine what the teachers are thinking right now because they have to organize everything for us. But I think that they're just doing a really good job to kind of like keep the atmosphere the same thing as if we were in school. So I just think that they're doing really well with what has been basically thrown at them.
Very good. Were you going to say something, Natalie?
Yeah, so it's kind of an adjustment because now we have hour-long classes and a lot of free time. So the way the teachers have kind of been setting up so that we can get the most out of our education is we tend to have larger homework assignments because we meet every other day. And cooler projects. I've been doing a lot of projects in my different classes because it is kind of harder to test. But like presentations, projects, there's more of a focus on that.
Okay. Josh, in these classes, how do the teachers know you're paying attention? You know, is it possible just to kind of sit on your computer and be quiet, or are teachers figuring out a way to try to involve as many students as possible?
Mhm. Teachers are definitely, one thing I've noticed is they're definitely going around and asking every single person. Like, for example, in history with Mr. Fawcett, he will
Yep.
go around and make sure he's calling on every single person to make sure we're all still staying involved. I know Natalie can also speak to that. She's in class with me there, and just, how much the teachers are really like making sure through this tough time, it's very easy to kind of not pay attention, but they're making sure that we're staying involved and we're still doing our work and doing our best.
And would you agree with Rory's assessment that teachers are doing a pretty good job?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good. Reed, are advisories continuing, and are you not only meeting with classes as the other three were just mentioning, but are you also meeting with your advisor and advisory? How is that working?
So yeah, for the 7th grade, we all meet as an advisory every morning, and it's really fun. We kind of get to wake up, see our friends and our advisor, and we just tell each other what we did the day before or that weekend or anything like that. So just kind of to lift our spirits and maybe figure out some new stuff on how to use Teams or go over what's going to be on the day, what's on our calendar, and what homework we have. So it's really helpful, and it kind of wakes you up.
Okay, good. Can you sleep in, or do you all have to wake up and sign in for, like, check in for attendance?
Well, at least for the middle school, I know we have to fill out a form that Hirsch will send out every morning, and it will have something fun like your favorite movie or color or band or music, anything like that. So just kind of a fun thing to make sure that you're going to be here for the day.
Rory, I imagine it's probably on you, the learner, right? You could probably sit back and be a passive learner in this setup, right? Because if a teacher calls you once or twice during an hour, yes, you have to respond, but it probably is more burden on you to be that active learner. How are you trying to stay kind of in the moment and in the class and engage in the class when it's in such a different format?
I definitely think that it's difficult because obviously you can't see the people around you, so you can't see if they're raising their hand to answer a question. But I think that you just have to try and eliminate the things that might distract you from your class, because obviously at school, like, you try to eliminate anything that's going to distract you, and at home it's a lot more difficult because there's probably about a million different things around your room that you could be doing while you're supposed to be in a class. So I think it's more just staying engaged, eliminating things that might distract you, and just trying your best to get in there and answer questions even though it is in video form.
Okay, very good. Rory, what's the number one thing that you find distracts you?
Probably my phone.
Okay.
And I think that would probably be a popular thing because around like middle school, high school, your phone is probably a very central thing in your life, especially now because that's how you communicate with your friends. So I think that my phone would probably be the most distracting thing.
Josh was saying earlier, he uses his phone a lot to text. Are you finding that's probably the one way that you're staying mostly in touch with friends?
Yeah, text, FaceTime through my phone is pretty much the way that we're all staying connected.
Good. Josh, what's the number one distraction for you that you have to fight against to stay engaged?
This is probably kind of a weird one. For me, it's my parents.
Okay.
It's weird because they've always got something for me to do.
Okay.
'Cause I'm home all the time now, so
Right.
they're really putting me to work to help them lift something up for them, take something up the stairs for them, help out my dad in the yard.
Okay.
So
have you found that your chores have increased in number since?
yeah, definitely.
Do you agree with that, Natalie? Are you being asked to work a little bit more around the house than usual?
Yeah. Well, and I'm also making more of a mess because I'm always in my room and I'm always in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So, like, fair that my chores have increased.
Yeah.
But
Okay. What for you, Natalie, do you find to be a distraction, if anything, when you're trying to focus on your learning and be engaged in classes?
yeah, I'd say phone. Or the access to the kitchen again is kind of an issue because it's like, I'll just get a quick snack. Maybe
So
just
if you're
one.
gonna get a quick snack, do you turn off your video and audio so nobody can see you go?
Yeah.
Good. That's good. Reed, how about you? How are you finding, trying to engage in classes? And are you finding anything in particular that can sometimes distract?
Yeah, my dogs mainly. They like to play a lot and be really loud. So I know a lot of my classmates have probably heard them. And then food is a big thing. So I'll eat my breakfast and wherever I work around the house, and sometimes I'll just see it there and start eating during my class. So it's really challenging not to, but I like to stay engaged in class and try to keep up.
Yeah, good. Have any of you met your teachers' pets or their family members during, or do you ever see like a cat go by or a dog or a screaming child or something like that?
Actually, in history, we've seen your dog a lot.
Okay.
Mei really likes to bark, especially during my bell, apparently.
Okay.
So, and like a bunch of some of my teachers have younger kids, so they'll come running onto the screen, and I think it's just kind of keeping yourself engaged and not getting distracted by a barking dog.
Very good. But it sounded, Rory, like that first week you didn't quite, you got a little anxious if you got bumped off the video or if you heard a dog barking and everything, but it feels a little just more natural now.
Yeah.
All right. How about Josh? Have you seen any flying cats or screaming kids or anything like that?
Definitely been introduced to a few pets. Definitely Mr. Miller introducing us just at the end. We just had a double bell for lab. And it's like, I know you guys have had a rough day, because it was the first class in the morning. He's like, but to cheer you guys up, here are my two dogs. It was like, all right, I really needed that.
Yeah, good. It was just what you needed at the end of the bell, right?
Get the morning going. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Now not only are you all leaders at our school, you're also great students, but you're also athletes. Natalie, what has this been like for you because you're a runner, I know, and Josh, you're a lacrosse player, and Reed, I think you play lacrosse in the spring too, is that right? And
Yeah.
Rory, did you have a spring sport?
I do not have a spring sport, but
you're a
I do year-round swimming, and it's
Right, you
kind of
swim
hard
all
to
year
like
round.
get into a pool right now. So.
Oh, so Natalie, just starting with you, how are you staying active and what are you doing in terms of, getting outside and exercising your body and stuff?
Yeah, it's devastating that the season got canceled, especially the last year. But I'm at least fortunate that running's a pretty easy sport to replicate even without competition. So
Yeah.
I've actually been running a lot more.
Okay.
Kind of wish I could race because I had a lot of time to train.
You're probably in good shape is what you're saying? Yeah.
Maybe it's the snacking paired with the running. So maybe I'm like a middle ground right now.
All right, fair enough. Where do you like to run?
So I live near Loveland Running Trail. So I can actually run to the trail and then run a few miles more there and then run back.
Yeah, very good. Josh, lacrosse is obviously something you can't do on the Loveland Running Trail. What have you been trying to do to keep your body, strong and get out and exercise besides doing your dad's chores out in the lawn, right?
Yeah. Every night I've got a workout routine that I've got just in my head, it's 28 push-ups, 28 sit-ups, and then I keep repeating that in a cycle through a bunch of other exercises, like 100 squats and then another 28 push-ups and sit-ups and that sort of stuff. I've been running a little bit, but a little bit hard, especially with the weather right now. But
now, why 28?
It's just a number that's really important to me. It was my number for hockey, and I lost a little bit at the end of that season. So it's just a number that holds a lot of importance to me.
Well, imagine if you had been number 3 in hockey, it would have been a lot easier.
It would have been a lot easier.
You went or at least you were in 68, like Jaromir Jagr, right? Reed, how about you? How are you doing to cut outside? And I butchered his name, didn't I, Josh? Jagr, right? It was 68.
Oh, Jaromir Jagr, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Reed, what are you doing in trying to just keep active and keep yourself kind of going in addition to the studies?
Well, I know I already talked about my dogs, but they are very hyper, so they need a lot of walks. And I'll take them on runs sometimes if they really start to pull. So, and jumping on the trampoline, playing other sports with my family, everything like that. I mean, it's not really a focused workout, but collectively it really helps me and just stay in shape and stuff like that.
Super. So it sounds like you are spending a lot of time with your family. You said that was one of the nice parts about, being at home, although you miss your friends, that you have been able to connect with your family. Is that right?
Especially because my brother is a senior and he's going off to college next year. We get to spend some quality time together, which is really nice.
Yeah, very good. Rory, I saw you nodding your head. Is it the same in your family? Have you been enjoying spending some time with your family?
I think that we definitely have been spending a lot more time with each other because in a normal day we barely see each other because our schedules are so crazy and we're always running around everywhere. And my sister and I are very close in age, so we can sometimes get very sick of each other.
Okay.
And I think that that's kind of the result that most people get for being stuck with your family for like 5 weeks in the same house. But I think that we have definitely been able to spend more time together, like eat dinner all together as a family. And I think that it's just been really nice.
Yeah, great. Rory, here in Ohio, we've been sheltering in place for probably 3 to 4 weeks now, where we're not supposed to leave the home unless you're going to the grocery store or to a doctor or something like that. Have you, during that time with your family, come up with a new kind of shelter in place tradition that's kind of fun, that you have started doing together that might even last beyond this time together?
So we one night we just randomly, like, there was nothing on TV, so we started watching Jeopardy.
Okay.
Then we started watching it every single night. So we've kind of been watching that every single night. So we'll watch Jeopardy and then we'll watch this like other show called like New Amsterdam.
Okay.
And it's kind of just become like our family show.
Who's best at Jeopardy in your family?
I would say it's my sister is not the biggest fan of watching Jeopardy.
Okay.
But I would say it's probably me or my mom.
Very good. What's your favorite category?
I like the history categories best.
Very good. Josh, how about for you? Has there been something that you and your parents have started doing in the last couple of weeks, new and different? Or
But more so of like just kind of just housework, really.
Here, Josh.
Yeah. Getting out the chainsaw and cutting up the trees that fell, that sort of stuff.
For real? You're out using a chainsaw?
Yep.
How did you learn how to use a chainsaw?
Just kind of it's kind of what I've known. I mean, just working, helped my dad a lot, kind of learned that stuff early on. So
good. Do you have a lot of trees on your property?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Reed, how about for you? I know you've mentioned trampolining. I know you've mentioned dogs. Are there other things that you and your family have kind of done that is kind of fun that maybe you didn't do before?
Yeah, so my brother, he's downstairs a lot more, and we just watch TV sometimes together, play board games. I know, like, we just play with the dogs a lot. The dogs are really a main part of our family, so especially because we got a new puppy, so he's really hyper. He needs a lot of attention. But yeah, we'll just sit on the couch, hang out, talk, and just hang out.
That would be great. That's great. And how about Natalie? How about for you and your family? Anything that's new or different that you've all started doing together?
Definitely family walks are
Okay.
a real thing. Seen that all over the news, everyone on their family walks. Or binge watching a lot of Netflix series. We were joking that we're gonna go through the entire database for Netflix by the time this is over.
What has been your favorite show so far that you've binge watched on Netflix?
So right now we're watching All American. So
okay, very good. Is that a newer? I don't know that show, so
it just got released. It just got released. It's a Netflix original. There are 2 seasons now. I think there might be more seasons in the future, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Josh, a little bit more of a serious question. When you think about this virus and you think about kind of the effects on the world around us and our city here in Cincinnati and our country and things like that, what are you thinking about? What do you think? Do you think that this pandemic that we're currently living in is going to change the world in a fundamental way?
That's kind of a loaded question. I think looking more regionally at Cincinnati, I think we've been very fortunate. Just by pure luck, we have, one of the strongest hospital systems in the United States. I believe last year they were ranked like 4th in the entire United States. But I know looking at kind of the US in general and around the world even, a lot of people have lost their jobs over this. Companies that have just been unable to afford not only paying for their products to purchase the raw materials they need, but then also paying their employees. And a lot of companies have had to close. I see online all the time, people saying, I lost my job, I might lose my house after this. And it's really sad to see. But I think when it's over, we're going to be a lot stronger as a world, because we'll be able to say, that time sucked real bad, but we're stronger people from coming through it, and we'll be able to proceed in a way that will make sure that that doesn't happen again, whether it's through the implementation of a better medical system, whether it's through increased productions of certain medical equipment, or whatever it will be. After this, we'll be able to look back and say, man, that was really bad what happened, but look at all this stuff we've learned and what we can take away from it.
That's great. Thank you for that answer. Rory, what about the same question to you?
I think that this has never happened before, and the last time that something like this did happen before was all the way back in like the early 1900s. So I think that this will definitely change the way we kind of look at the world, because I think that there's going to be a lot of things that we definitely took for granted, like going outside of our neighborhood and seeing our friends and going to school even, because I know that this has changed a lot of people's outlook on school, and especially my grade, because we've all been saying, oh, I want to go back to school, where before spring break it was, can we please go on spring break? So I think that this has definitely changed people's perspectives, and I think it will later on. And just being thankful for the things that you have at the moment, because yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Rory. Reed, do you have a thought?
I really agree with Rory. It's going to change a lot of people's thoughts and perspectives on what it's really like to have the privilege to go to school and to be able to even just like step outside your car in a new place besides your house and see other people and everything like that. And I really think that we're going to enjoy getting back to our normal life, and it's really going to be amazing.
And really appreciate it that much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Natalie, how about you? Thoughts on that question?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think globally will ever truly be the same, because at least I haven't been old enough to ever really live through such a urgent global dilemma. Like obviously there are ones that have been building up, but this is definitely the largest thing that has ever happened to me, or I believe any of my classmates. Like this has affected our lives the most. And I think it's interesting just the way it'll change us, the way we'll look at the world, the way we'll look at traveling, the way we'll look at what a hug is will forever change because of this experience. And I don't know what the future holds. I guess it kind of depends on how the economy recovers, how travel recovers, how everything plays out, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, very good. Well, thank you all again for speaking with me. You're all, again, senior leaders. And so what I'd love to do is just end with each of you being able to say something to the students at Country Day, in your position of leadership. Natalie, we'll start with you. You're our student body president. And then Josh, maybe you can say something specifically to the seniors. And then Rory and Reed, if you'd like to say something to the middle schoolers, why don't we just end with a statement like that? So Natalie, do you want to say anything to the students at Country Day?
Yeah, well, I'm proud of every student at Country Day. It's amazing to see how this community is persevering through this. Especially shout out to the seniors for everything we're kind of losing out on, but I know that no matter what, we're staying strong, and I love all of you guys, and I'm glad we're staying connected. And I know that once we come back for Thanksgiving or next summer, we're gonna have the best time together. So
that's great. Thank you, Natalie. Josh.
Yeah, I guess I'll just go for the seniors. When I got elected last year to be the senior class president, I wasn't really expecting this to be the way it ended, especially having gone to CCD for 16 years and attending 10 graduations for the years before us. But I know when it's all over that we will be better like what has happened to us has been really rough. And when we get our graduation and when we are able to look back, we can't look at just this ending. We need to look at our entire experience in high school. We can't let this terrible 2-month end be how we think of our entire high school experience. We need to make sure that we think back of all the good times we had throughout high school and all the great times we've had at CCD.
Well said. That's really well said. Thank you, Josh. Rory, how about from you?
I think that we just need to stay strong, and that it might be really hard right now, but you know, we're going to get through this, and we're going to get through it as a community. And when we come back, I think we're going to be an even better and stronger and even more loving community than we were before. So I think that we just have to keep going and just get through it.
Yeah, very good. And Reed, how about from you?
I think that, I mean, we can get through this like all of them have said. That's why we're CCS community. We have each other, and that's how we're going to be able to like get through this and persevere and be able to overcome this and be resilient. I know we can do it, and it's just a matter of time. So.
Well, great. Well, Natalie and Josh and Rory and Reed, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.